Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be kind of fun to do some painting, and these are, I just wanted to do maybe some florals that could be used in some way in our journals. I thought I'd just pull out some watercolors and maybe we could get started. So this is watercolor paper. It is not an expensive watercolor paper. It's by Canson. I thought we could just go for it. It's actually more like a hot press because it doesn't have a whole lot of tooth to it, but it'll take wet media really, really well. It might even be a mixed media paper. I've got some paints here, some watercolor paints. These are some of my Schmenke paints. That's just the brand. You can use whatever you have. I have some waterproof pens, and I will link my source at Jackson's for these. You can get them other places as well. They're the Una Pin Fine Lines. So I love those. And then I've got, I don't know if I'll use them, these are Uniball Signos. And I love the white and the silver and the gold. I haven't used these yet. These are new at Christmas, so we'll see how we go. A couple of paint brushes. These round paint brushes are my preference for watercolor. This is an 8 and this is a 10. And yeah, they're different. Both, I think, synthetic. I prefer synthetic. Got a glass of water for mixing, and I've used an old dish rag to dab off instead of paper towel. You could absolutely use paper towel. I like using dishcloth because then I can wash it and repurpose it. Less waste. Okay, so let's just see. We'll just get started, I think. I'm going to take some water and I didn't pre-mist. Usually I pre-mist my watercolor pans. It's a pretty color. And the more water you add, the lighter it's going to be. So, and then I can just put some water over here as well. I hope you can see by casting a shadow. Let me see, is that light going to help? Maybe. Okay. So my thought is, if I go, start with the point, and then this is a very simple flower, and I can pick up some of that if I find it's a little too much. So I'm thinking in my mind that this flower, I see more of it on this edge coming towards me, so I'm going to make the petals up here a little bit smaller, like so. There's no science to this. There really isn't. This is just me goofing around. So there's something very simple and therapeutic about doing this sort of thing. I hope you can see. So I'm just going to put a few flowers in a few different spots because in my mind I'm going to tear them out. So I'm making the point of the flower with the point of the round brush. Very simple, like that. And I like that when the petal looks like it's a little bit broken at the bottom, it doesn't look as overworked. So I'm just going to change colors. Just in my water, you can see my water starting to turn color up there. I'm still getting some color on the brush. So let's try this. I think I want to mix that orange with a little bit of, oh, that's blue. I don't want blue. I mean, we could do blue, but I want to mix that with a little more yellow because I was finding it to be a little bit too orange. And I'm going to add that to a bit of this magenta in there, and that's going to give me a little richer color. Could add a little bit more yellow. I've got some of another color on there, and that's no problem. I can just mix that up later. So yeah, I'm liking this yellow a little bit more. I might throw in a little bit of this. This is a Harvest Gold. Okay, so let's try this. I want to make sure I don't spend all of my time mixing and not enough time making. It's a very simple stroke to add a flower this way. And there's lots of folks who do this sort of thing. I'm just going to add a little more in there. I want that a more saturated color. So if I were to go and kind of do like the side of a flower, is my thought, like that. And then I could just very quickly put in a few what appear to be petals in behind. Normally I would wait for it to dry before I did that sort of thing, but there we go. We'll see how that turns out. The black, using the permanent markers or permanent pens definitely helps with what we might be doing there. Okay, I liked this. Well, let's go to this orangey. Add it with a bit of that yellow. And this is in no means an expert lesson. I'm just going to give a little color in here, like that. And I'm going to grab a bit of a green. That's a very, like a Kelly green. I like throwing in another, actually maybe a little bit of this sepia that's under here. See the sepia that's on the, or sienna. See, that makes for a more green that's more likely to appear in nature. That's a very wide stem, but we're not going for perfection. We're just going for, fun. I feel like this stem would be on this side over here. And then if we go and kind of leave a bit of space in the middle, that might make it look more like an actual leaf. Like that. Anyway, very simple stuff. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit so that it will dry a little bit more. Only because we don't have a whole lot of time for this, do we? I'm just thinking about my time limit on my videos. Okay. And I feel like this one's still quite wet. But let's see what happens. Wet on wet technique, it makes it actually move the fabric, or not the fabric, the paint moves a little bit more and it makes it quite beautiful, I think. Okay. All right, this is just, like I said, the beginning of doing, we just want to do something fairly rudimentary. I think that's all I'm going to do for painting. I'm going to set my paints aside for now, and my brushes, and let's see. Sorry, I'm just going to put them across a little bowl there. And let's see, what do we want for a base? I thought that it might be kind of fun to have to maybe do like a cluster or something. So while they're still drying a little bit, and like I said, they're very rudimentary, but easy to do. I'm just going to cut that at about, I want to cut it at about 1 3/4. Cut a couple of those. and we'll see how we go with that. And we'll use some other bits in it, perhaps. So I'm going to grab those. Take this. Apologies for Miss Midge. She's stressed about one of the neighbors has the audacity to walk her dog, which is just, you know, too much for her to take. So I'm going to try and pull this off. Normally I would wait for it to dry completely. See, how did we didn't smear too much. Because things might move a bit because I've done that, so I wanted to see how that would work. And like I said, this is just a very rudimentary video. And what else am I going to use? I think I have some book page here. So while this is drying, we can maybe kind of create a base for a cluster. Just going to pull this apart. Pardon me. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I've got my nose. I seem to have a bit of a runny nose today. I think it's just remnants of the cold that I've had. It's mostly gone, I'd say. So I'm just going to set that up there. What else do I have? I have some. This is some Rachel paper. Now I think this is from her Renaissance kit. Actually, those colors would look really nice together. So I'm just going to take that and maybe pull this down a little bit. Maybe I'll just set that here. Put some glue down. And see how it goes. So yeah, I hope everybody is well. We're all doing great. Okay, that's coming along well. We might as well do a couple of bases while we're at it. All right, I have some linen, which I think will be fun. It's glued to some fabric, so I think I want to cover. Oh, that's not going to work. Dream on. Okay, I think I want to put it like up here, like seeing that frayed bit coming off it. And, oops, set it like that, I think. And do I have some other fabric? I do. I have, oh, look at this. I have this pretty green, which I think would be super for what we're doing. Have that come out there. Oops. So I've basically just kind of put 4 elements on the page, and then actually I'm going to have that green so that it comes out of the flower, if we can get our flower on there. Okay, so there's one base. Let's do a couple, and we'll do the bases up, and then we'll get started doing a little bit more with the flowers. So I'm going to put this on one side, all the way down, like that. Oops, like that. I'm going to get some more fabric. Here's another, I think that's a piece of Sanderson fabric, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that is. This might just be a chintz, actually, now that I look at it. I'm just going to pull some of these threads out. Have that have that up here. And really, there's not a huge rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just going to have that up like that. And then I'm going to, underneath, put this little piece of vintage or antiquarian paper, like that. So those are good bases. Okay. This is just me seat of the pants doing this, so I hope it comes out halfway decent. We'll see. Okay, we've got those. Now let's see about our flowers. Okay, this one is still a bit wet, but these are pretty good. So I'm going to use, I have a 0.05, a 0.03. That 0.05 is not happy. Okay, that's good. That's a 0.7. So I'm going to come in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. And apologies for any shadows that we may have. I'm going to try not to create more shadows. So I'm just going to kind of outline this, but not entirely. And then I'm going to create, and you can go beyond what you have. And I'm just going to try and keep the kind of organic look to it. A little bit of a wobbly line. Like so. Like, this is not me having a shaking hand. It's not just me having a shaking hand, I should say. It is intentional in this particular flower. I want to try and create the look like it has kind of almost like a little bit of a serrated edge. And then, see, it really defines it more, the 0.3. So I'm just going to create kind of a bit of an energy there. I know that sounds a little esoteric, doesn't it? Just a kind of line here as well. And you could, if you don't like the wavy line, you could absolutely make it a solid line. So that just gives it a little bit more oomph. And then just looking to see if I have a thinner. The 7's a little wider than I really would want, but I'm just going to do this one. This one is still damp, so I want to just cut that off so I don't put my hand through it. And let's do this one. So maybe this one will make a little less raggedy. And move your paper where you need it to be. There are very few like solid lines in nature. And in drawing, just give yourself permission to go outside the lines a little bit. I think it gives it a really interesting sort of look. So I'm just kind of graduating that line a little bit, and then we'll go beyond with our leaf. Okay, so I'm going to move to the smaller pen, which is the 0.03, and I'm going to just from the center make a nice thin line. And they actually look a bit like cosmos, don't they? The cosmos flowers. So this is part of me trying to integrate a little bit more my artwork with my journal making. Okay. So that's all we're going to do on these. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear around, and I'm going to tear around this, and hopefully it's going to look halfway decent on one of these. And I'm going to tear around this one. Of course, you would do the other one as well. I'll do that at another time. Set it aside so I don't lose it. I don't know about you guys. I lose, well, I lose it in terms of I don't focus sometimes on where I've put something, and so then I go back and I'm like, where did I put that? Of course, it's where I last left it, but I need to be a little more present sometimes to recognize where I've put things. And then I would still use these. I particularly love that edge. And the other thing is, actually, while we're here, I'm going to move that back, the 0.03. There's no reason why you couldn't do just some circles for the little pollen buds on the stamens, and then some lines and some circles. Simple as that. Like I said, nothing fancy. So we have these two. Where did the other one go? Oh, there it is. See what I said? Yep, I like the orange one there. I like the pink one kind of here. And I think they're kind of cool. And you could fussy cut it out, but I'm going for more of a rough sort of look. So I want to just get the flower, and they could absolutely be smaller than this, than what I've done. I was just doing seat of the pants kind of stuff. Oh my goodness, that one did not want to tear. Okay, so, and we could turn this over and have it so that we see the, so that we see that. And then this one, I don't know, it's just kind of fun to do something like this. And I want to tear this a little bit more. Yeah. So, this is me being a little bit brave, believe it or not. I do hope to show you a little bit more of some of the things that I do that are a little bit more in depth, but I'm mindful of how limited my time is with this with my current setup. So we'll set that there. And I think I want to come out of those leaves, so I'll set it like that. Put it in the center, because I think I'll use the sewing machine to set that off to the side a bit. And I don't mind that the words are going to be upside down now. Don't mind that at all. Get rid of these papers. And let's see. Do I have a label or anything that I also want to add before we do some sewing? These are some labels from Tracie, and ooh, I love this one. I think I want something smaller like that. I have a couple of them. So we'll cut those out and set them on. It's exactly the same one for each. So I just try and move the paper, not the scissors. Ovals are tough to cut, I have to say. Anyway, this is me concentrating. Okay, there's one. And we'll move this one as well, checking the time. Okay, I feel like we're gonna be able to get these done. I hope. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to take and put this, I'm going to bring it across onto the paper a little bit. Put my glue on there, right like that. Love it, love it, love it. And then this one, I might put it underneath a little tiny bit. Put that glue on there. And there we go. Okay, so the next bit, I'm just going to move this out a bit and move this a little bit so that we can see what we're doing. So I'm just going to bring the sewing machine up and we'll see how this comes together. Now, if I had been thinking, I might have put dark thread on the sewing machine because I think that might look really cool. But I don't have dark thread on it, so apologies for that. But I still like the texture of having some sewing. So why don't we try a little zigzag and see what we think. I'm going to try and go around the flower a little bit and see what happens here. So we've got that. I just think that brings it together really. And this one's going to be fun. It's got a few more twists. Turn it. And of course, we don't have to hit every twist because we're kind of free flow stitching there. And there's that one as well. And if we wanted, we could, I'm going to go down to a straight stitch. You could go around it as well. A couple of times if you want it. Love all these threads that are sticking out. Can you see? Isn't that fun? Like, I think that's really fun. And it's just a fun way to add a little bit of painting if you're someone who likes to do painting. If you didn't have paints, you could do this with colored pencils. You could do this with markers. You could do it with any kind of media that dries solid. You could do it with acrylics. Anything like that. So, there they are. Okay. Let me just move this out of the way. Apologies, you knew I was going to hit that again. And here we go. We've got our two little bits. I'm just going to reach up and grab the journal, or attempt to. Once again, I wasn't as prepared as I could have been. But you know what? It's okay. So this is what they look like. And you can see the stitching from the back. I just think they're kind of fun. So how would I use it in a journal? Well, I think it's the sort of thing that would look really, really great. Just kind of glued. And then you've got a tuck spot for underneath. That sort of thing. You could also use it, let me see. It would be really fun to put on the bottom and have it as a side tuck or a little pocket. So that's it, guys. That's our attempt. My attempt at continuing to connect my some art in my journal making. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you give it a try. It's super easy to do. And, you know, it gives a nice effect. I mean, it's not meant to be perfect. That is not the goal. The goal is to have fun and create. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.